And a very good evening, everybody, and welcome to Fairway to Heaven right here on the Philadelphia Sports Network. We are live. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. You know the drill. Hit those like, share, subscribe, retweet, follow buttons wherever you are watching. And make sure you get interactive with the show. This is Fairway to Heaven, the best fantasy and gambling golf podcast there is on the market. I am your host, Phil Stiefel. As always, my co-host in crime, Jason Sullivan, sitting in next to me. It's Easter week, Jason. It's supposed to be match play week, Jason, but instead we've got the Texas Christian Houston Open. I don't think they could have made the name any longer. How you doing, my man?
Dude, I'm doing great. Like I said in my little bio, Fox's Pizza Den, best pizza around.
I appreciate that, my man. Hold on, I'm still trying to get all my tabs open, all my things ready to go here. It's gonna be a hectic show here today. But we are going to power through it.
It's turning into another week. I know we talked about this a couple weeks ago, but it's going to be another week. To Scottie or not to Scottie?
Yeah, I mean, we might as well just dive right into that and the Scottie Scheffler conversation this week. Obviously, this week is normally the match play event. They've done away with the match play event and moved this fall swing event into its place this week. There's a few really top tier golfers in the field. One being obviously Scottie Scheffler, but after the top 4 or 5 guys, it drops off a cliff. There is one really interesting thing to discuss with this Open is the fact that there is a lot of tournament. It's bounced around from a few different courses. It'll be the 4th or 5th year at Memorial Park in Houston, but the time change of the month of the year that it will play a factor. So there's a lot of things to look at, but really it's just like you said, Scottie or not the Scottie. And Jason, how do you not play him? But how do you play him? Like, I don't know how to even comprehend this question.
It's hard. I mean, I think they finally got the pricing right, that's the key. We've been begging to price Scottie up. So you have to make a conscious decision this week. Like, do you want the rest of your lineup to suffer, or do you want to skip Scottie? But the drop off is so big. I mean, Wyndam Clark's been awesome this season and last year in general. But how do you not? I mean, in theory, Scottie should just roll this field.
In theory, Scottie loves it. The one thing that, I'm sure you've heard it before, but Texas kids love playing golf in Texas.
Yeah.
They understand the winds. They understand the air. They understand, around in Texas. But how do you do it? Like, I actually think you can play Scottie if you wanted to, because even though they got his pricing right at $13K, leaving the $5K board in play, like you've brought up, even though there's some pretty god-awful golfers in that $5K range, it does, in theory, give you the opportunity to play Scottie. I saw an article or a post from Len, one of the fantasy writers of the year, great writer, great guest of the show in the past, and he said you can conceivably write a lineup with Scottie and Wyndam in your lineup. And I mean, that's just too bold for my taste, but, I mean, what's Scottie Scheffler's ownership projections at? I don't have them up yet on my screen.
Well, Fantasy National says high 20s.
Okay, so it's got to go up a little bit higher probably as we get closer to the event.
I've seen places that are predicting 40% for this week. That makes it interesting to me.
So here's the question I give you as a guy that knows a lot more about the analytics side of things than me. Is it smarter to go with the field and overdo Scottie? Put him in all 20 of your lineups, okay? And then figure out the rest, or be completely different than Scottie and start with Tagala or Will Zalatoris, or even skip the whole 10K range in and of itself. Which direction, analytically speaking, is the smarter thing to do?
That's the hard part. If you can figure out that answer, you let me know. No, I've been thinking about this all day today. I've heard a lot of different perspectives, and to me, what jumped off the page earlier, if it is truly going to be in the 20s, whatever, I'm not worried about that ownership. If it's going to be 40, not that I'm worried about it necessarily, but what if he has a T15 week? He's still a great player. His floor's so high, so he's not going to miss the cut. He's not going to choke. You know what I mean? But what if he just finishes 12th or 15th? It's at that point, I feel like I should fade him. But then it's who do you really feel comfortable? Do you feel comfortable with Wyndam at almost 11? Justin Suh is good on tough courses, so
he is. I've been waiting. I've been waiting to make a comment. Hang on one second, Jason. continue talking for a second about Justin Suh.
No, I was just basically saying that, not with Justin Sub, but just in general with Scotty, it's like there's a lot of different ways to go with it, but I don't know. Wyndham's been great, but I'm not sure how comfortable I feel with him at. I mean, 10-9 is a lot for Wyndham.
Yeah. I
Theegala
mean,
being Theegala being chalk and being over 10K, do you feel comfortable with that? I mean, I know he's been great, but
well, so I'm also looking at it from a betting perspective. And like, but when I made my bets late last night, um, he was plus 260 to win outright, Scottie Scheffler. There's no value in doing that. So then I was convincing myself that you play chalk Scottie Scheffler on the DFS end and go all in, go 20, all 20 lineups because he's not going to miss the cut most likely. And then fade the bet. But then I'm like, that's still, I just don't know if, like you said, you bring up such a good point. Or if he finishes outside the top 10, you're screwed. You're wasting your money. The odds are he's not going to finish outside the top 10. But the Masters is 2 weeks away. Like where are their minds? This is not an event they normally play this time of year. I don't know how you say yes or no to him. And let me just give you my answer. That's why I'm playing 4 lineups this week instead of 21 lineups because I don't want to have to make that decision 21 times.
yeah, and you don't have to, fade him either. You could do a little bit of both. You could make lineups with Scotty in it. You could make lineups without Scotty in it. Like you don't have to
Here,
fade.
we've never discussed this. I've seen other shows talk about it. And off the top of my head, I'm not really remembering what they said. Some of these shows like Rick Run Good and others that I watch a lot of fantasy golf pods. Chad and the guys, check them out. 420 on Wednesdays, cracking beers, talking fantasy golf. Great sponsor and partner with the show here. Like, do you when somebody's 40%? I've read a lot of people say you just go overboard with them. Is there a smarter decision to go under? Like, all right, you like Scottie Scheffler, he's going to be 40% owned. Sorry, if he's 40% owned, you go 100%. Is that the right thing to do?
I think you do. I mean, I think so. I think that's the decision.
It's better to go overboard than underboard when somebody's that chalky.
Anybody else besides Scotty, I would say no. But
Okay.
we've seen his floor be so high that's kind of a hard question because his floor is like right now, what, T10? That's like the worst he could possibly
I mean,
finish.
and he's got great course history here. He's 9th last year, 2nd the year before that, 32nd and 28th. The 4 times it's happened here at the Memorial Park. So he likes this course. He likes playing in Texas. He's going to be 40% owned. He's 13K. I mean, we have literally done nothing in the first 8 minutes to actually nail down the answer to this
Right.
question.
Well,
Like, I can't comprehend how you say no to, like, I have said no to him on my betting card completely. I
Mhm.
tried to find like a parlay. Like I was thinking maybe you bet him to win this. Can you parlay him to win
With the
this and the
Phillies.
Masters to maybe increase
Oh,
your odds a little bit?
I thought you were gonna say with like the Phillies to win on opening day or something.
Huh?
Uh,
Well, I don't know when opening day is going to be, so I can't do that because it might get rained out on Thursday, our
right.
opening day. So,
So
but yeah, like
I heard 2 points that I kind of want to touch on a little bit.
okay,
First of all, with betting, Scotty, I kind of want to go there first.
yeah,
I've seen a lot of people talk about your point. Like, do I just put all my eggs in one basket?
hmm
To me, that's a no for sure. That's absolutely a no. You don't see a guy win. Okay, he's won 2 times in a row, but like you don't see a guy really win 3 out of 5 or 3 in a row or
right,
like 3 out of 6 even. Like, so I definitely wouldn't do that. I think that's crazy talk, to be honest with you.
right,
I think it was Tambo, I think, on the Fantasy Golf Generous brought up an interesting point. Like, there's so much time that you say, like, okay, Scotty's 13,000. If he doesn't win, I'm screwed. That's not the case. You need all
right.
6 of you guys to perform well. If Scotty
Mhm.
finishes 5th and the rest of your lineup still hits, you're in good shape, right?
Yeah,
But
what used to be my old philosophy, play John Rahm in the winter. Like,
right,
as long as you're super confident in the rest of your player pool, maybe there's a case to be made there.
which
Me
is kind of
personally, I don't know.
that's kind of my argument against playing Scotty though, because it's
Yeah,
like, do you feel comfortable? I think if you play Scotty, it leaves you with an average of 7,400 the rest of the
right.
way. I
It's
don't
like
feel like I can build a
6,300 if
lineup
you
that
play Scotty and Windy
right.
at the same
Do you
time.
think you can? Are you confident that all the rest of your guys can get in the top 10 being 7,400 or below? Because I'm not.
No, I absolutely, especially in a weak field like this. And here's the other thing, like, I know I sometimes think we overthink these things. Like, if they enter an event, they're all in. They're always trying to win the event. But this event is normally at a different time of the year. This is 2 weeks before the Masters. You gotta think that Scotty's main priority and focus right now is getting ready for Augusta in 2 weeks.
Right. He's also not playing next week, though. That's something to take into
That's
consideration.
true.
I think
That's true.
this is his tune-up, and it's in his, not hometown, but home state. So I feel like
Right.
I don't think he plays. I know there was a lot of talk about his possible injury too. He doesn't play this week if he's even remotely injured. So
Absolutely not. Yeah, I don't. Yeah. Um, I saw somebody else say, "Did he shave his beard?" And if he shaved his beard, maybe you should stay away from him. Also, just gonna throw that out there. But no, I don't know. Like I personally am staying completely off of Scottie Scheffler right now. But what I am doing, I only made 4 outrights. I like that 5 or 6. I'm only playing 4 outrights, and with those 4 outrights, I've kept my budget, so I still have a few bucks left. I'm hoping Scotty. I'm hoping somebody breaks out to a big lead and Scotty falls behind. I bet you even if Scotty was 5 or 6 strokes back after Thursday, he still would be no worse than 10-1 or something like that. But I've saved that money. If I could get Scottie Scheffler at any point Thursday or Friday at 10-1 or better, then I'm going to slam my 5th outright as a live outright. I think that's what you do. And I know I've preached the philosophy of showdown lineups. You stick to your player pool for showdown lineups. I am not playing Scottie Scheffler this week in DFS, but I'm going to allow myself, if he falls behind, to play him in a showdown lineup because his ownership, if he's 6 back, 7 back after Thursday, no, people will still play him on Friday, but that 40% will become 20%. And then I'm going to get more value out of Scottie Scheffler. If he just barely makes the cut on Saturday, he'll be in every showdown lineup for me
that's
because
a
Scottie Scheffler 8 to 10 strokes back. He can play relaxed. He's going to go out there and fire a 63. I think does he hold the course? Hold on, I forget who holds the course record. I know I wrote it down. It might have been him. Yeah, he has the course record in 2021 at this course. And he shot a 62 at this course a couple years ago. So, like, it's very capable. Do you think that strategy might be the smarter avenue to just wait and see on Scottie Scheffler?
It's almost like that in every tournament he plays, I feel like. So I told you about this. I don't know if I said this on the show, but I told you this in over text or whatever, that the week of the players, he played okay in the first 2 rounds. He struggled a little bit. His number was 28-1 on Friday night. And I sat there and thought about it for like a good amount of time and didn't do it. And I was pissed at myself for not doing it. I'm like,
And what was he at the start of the tournament? 6-1, 7-1?
7, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the fact that he was, I mean, and he's capable of going, like you said, he holds a course record here. Any given day, Scotty could beat the field by 5 shots. So it's like that was really stupid to not bet that on my part.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the best thing is to do that is just to be patient. Wait, if you see a Scottie Scheffler Friday night 28-1, you better bet it, right?
Yeah, 100%. Did you see
mean,
that you
have
bet?
to? I mean, you might actually like. I've only got a couple bucks left in my budget this week, but instead of a couple bucks, I might tap into next week's budget. You know what I mean? If I see him get to 28-1 and make the cut, then I'm tapping into next week's budget to lay that bet.
Did you see? Did you
So
see that
he's
you
won
bet?
2 times in a row, right? That he's teed it up. Can he win 4 in a row?
Right.
He's come pretty close to that, hasn't he? In the past,
I
when he
think
went on his first big run, didn't he
nobody's won
win?
3 since DJ. I know that. That was like
Okay,
2018.
so I'm thinking when he won the Masters 2 years ago, I think
It was
he
like
had
4 out of 5 or something like that.
4 out of 5 or something.
Yeah.
So he is capable of winning a lot of events
For sure.
in a short period of time. Is what I'm getting at. I don't know. It's such a difficult topic. It's such a difficult conversation to have. All I know is Mount putter sales have got to be going through the roof now, right?
Well, you can bet. I don't know if you saw this. You can bet Scotty versus the field, and
Yeah.
like the field's odds are like, what was it, like minus 350 or something like that?
Yeah.
That's insane.
And his is only plus 250, so it's
Yeah.
not like you're getting that
No.
good of a return on
No,
either
you're
end
really
of the
not.
equation there.
That's insane. So that was kind of I think it was Joe Idoni that over at the Tour Picks was talking about. I don't know if you caught any of his show this week, but they were talking about 2008. Tiger had won 3 events in a row, and for the 4th event, he was even money to win. It was the Masters, and he finished second, but he was even money to win.
Like that's insane. That's insane. I don't know. Personally,
Could you
for
imagine-
me, I'm fading him completely. I'm staying off of him. I'm gonna save my Scotty. I actually still think that Scott. I know I have a futures bet of like 50-1 on Zalatoris to win the Masters, but I still think that Scottie Scheffler is probably the favorite. You know, Well, he is the favorite, but I mean, in my mind, he not only is, but should be. Like, he'll be justifiably the favorite to win the Masters, and I would be shocked if he's not in the top 2 or 3 come Sunday at Augusta.
Well, and it sucks too because we've talked about it in the past, like wanting to price him up. So they finally did
Right.
that. 13,000 is great. The problem is the stupid 5K range. Like,
Well, that's the thing. Like,
price him up
if
to
he was
13.
13K and you stopped at 6K,
Right.
that
Yeah.
40% ownership wouldn't be 40%. It would be it'd still probably be 30, but more reasonable at
Yeah.
30%.
It might be in the 20, between 20 and 30. But it's I just don't like that because if you they almost like eliminated the 7K range. Like the 7K range is so
Yeah.
small now because the 6K and 5K are so big. It's like your point. I mean, if you cut it off at 6K, you almost have to play 2 6K guys if you want to play Scotty.
Yeah. Hold on.
Like,
I
how
got
many people are gonna
DraftKings
feel
board
comfortable
up here real quick.
Yeah, how many
I
guys
just
are
wanna
gonna feel
look at this.
comfortable doing that? That's
So
that's
you
that's
play
huge.
Scotty at 7,400. If you wanna pick just a random guy in the 8Ks to pair with him, just say for hypothetical speaking, I just paged down and Doug Gim was the first name I saw.
Yeah.
Doug Gim, now you're at 7,200.
Right.
Throw in Luke List at 7,500. You're at 71 now. So you could play you could get all right, Sam Ryder at 69. He's had a really good season. Svensson has been up and down at 71. All right, so I just built I guess I'm still one short here. I need a 6th guy.
But to
All
my
right, I
point,
mean,
you're not feeling pumped about that lineup. You can do it, but
so
you're not feeling
I'm just gonna tell you. So I just did a random lineup here. All right. And I put Scottie Scheffler in it with Doug Gim, the Gim Reaper, Luke List, Sam Ryder, Svensson, and Damon. And at least 200 on the board. That's what you're looking at. Best case scenario if you play Scottie Scheffler.
and are you
That's
are
a
you
lot of
confident
upper 6, lower 7 guys with Scottie Scheffler
and you're not
in a
confident
field that's got 6 top 30 guys in it.
right. Thinking everybody needs to finish top 15 probably to win a GPP.
And
Are you
all those
confident
names
in
I
that?
just listed, are any of
Oh.
them going to finish in the top 50?
Right, no. That's
There's a chance all 5 of them miss the cut, let
Right.
alone finish in the top
Right. So
15.
now you can dip down into the 5s and feel comfortable.
I mean,
after that.
Austin Cook at 5,200, I kind of like him. Bud
He's
Cauley
good
at
course history.
6,200. I clicked
He's
both those
close.
names. I did. I've done 3 of my 4 lineups already. I started my betting card and my lineups with Sahith Theegala this week. The guy's been playing fantastic golf. Again, I've only done 3 lineups. He's in 2 out of 3, 66% of them so far.
Mm.
I bet him at 20-1. I bet half my budget on him to win this week. Half my bet. Actually, because I've saved some of that, technically out of the money I have invested right now, 60% of my betting money is invested in Sahith Theegala winning this week. You know, he's a new Texas, resident, but technically he's a Texas boy now. So I get to follow that. The guy's a top 10 machine. He's won in the past, so he's got winning upside. Are you on him, Clark, any of the other top tier guys this week?
Dude, I'm struggling. I bet Theegala and I
Okay.
bet Zalatoris also.
Okay.
So but I'm not sure if I'm going to play Zalatoris in DFS because of his ball flight. I'm just worried if the wind picks up, Zalatoris hits the ball a
Absolutely.
mile in the air. So I'm just worried about if it's super windy, is he going to be able to, hit his irons the way he hits his irons? Thegala's more, he hits the ball a little lower. So
Mhm.
I don't know. But then I also am worried on the flip side of that is Thegala worth $10,000 play? He's been a
In
slam
this
dunk for
field,
me.
I have to argue that yes, he is worth that in this field.
Do you think his win equity is enough? Like I know he's won
He, he,
once, right?
he has won once. I'm pulling up his player profile right now. Hang on a second.
He's been great.
Um,
So there's no denying
yeah,
that.
so he's got 1 win in 23. He's got a 2nd place this year. So he's got 3 second places total in his career, a 3rd place, a 4th place. He's got a lot of top 10s in his career. He's had a
Well,
very short career, but he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He's got about 20 top 10s. And some of them are tough events.
T6
Top
and
10
Arnold
players
Palmer,
this year,
yeah.
top 10 at the
Yep.
Masters. He's played some really tough events. So I
Yeah,
think
he
there
is.
is win equity. Excuse me, there is win equity with Sahith Theegala this week.
So
I
you like
really,
him-
out of all those top guys we mentioned, I would be the least shocked if he won out of them.
So you like him over Clark? I love Clark. I'm
Yeah.
just worried about Clark.
We
being
bashed
alone
Clark
down.
the opening show, saying he was one of the guys that wasn't going to keep up with last year's success. But man, he's a big game hunter, Wendy Clark.
Who's better on the PGA Tour right now than him? Scotty. That's it.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, he literally. I
Yeah.
think we had this conversation last
We
week.
did.
I really
Yeah.
think Wyndam Clark is the 2nd best golfer on the PGA Tour right now, just
Which is
current
insane.
form.
Yeah.
but I think Sahith Theegala might be top 5 current form on the
Yeah,
PGA Tour.
for sure.
Is that
Top
a
10.
is that a reach to say that?
No.
Name me 4 other golfers that are better than for sure. Windy, Scottie Scheffler, and who else is playing Sahith Theegala good?
Xander probably. That's
Yeah,
about it.
but Xander, we
Yeah.
know he has no
He
win
doesn't
equity, and
win. Yeah, he
yeah, he
doesn't win.
never wins.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I am going Sahith Theegala. That is my choice in that top range. I faded the upper 9. I have a couple clicks in the lower 9 range, but if you're playing Sahith and Scottie Scheffler or Wyndham and Sahith or Sahith and Will Zalatoris, you have to fade the complete 9K range, don't you?
Yeah. I've actually I've debated both. I've debated playing them, but I've also debated starting in the 9K range, and
Yeah,
I
I
think you
mean,
can do that. I mean, get 2 of those 9K guys in there. I know that you said you didn't like too much in this range, but Finau, I mean, if
well, no, I don't say I didn't like them. I said I couldn't make it work with
right,
what I
right.
was doing. Like Finau, isn't Finau the defending champion?
He's a defending champ, and we know about Finau, like, he has, like, a handful of courses that you just play him on, right? That
Yeah,
he just loves for whatever reason, and he hasn't been great
he
either, but
is.
his ball striking has been good still. Like, his biggest thing is he just can't putt.
We'll say he has one here, but he has also missed the cut here as well. So there's a little inconsistency with him at this course,
Yeah.
but I think he's second overall.
I think a lot of these guys have
He's
he has
first in
actually
shots gained total in this
yeah.
event over the last 5 years.
And I think you see a lot of miscuts here because of how difficult the course can play.
Do you care about the course history? Knowing that the time of year change affects the weather that the golfers are gonna see, the air is gonna be drier, the greens are the grass, I mean, they get a lot more rain in November than they do, this time of the year. So, like, there's gonna be a lot of things that are different. The course is gonna play totally different this time, and it's a long course, 7,400 yard, par 71. It's a long course.
They're saying it's gonna be pretty dry this week, so that helps a little bit
Mhm.
in the whole and the weather's supposed to be pretty nice for the most part. But no, I think course history matters. I think course history matters on every course. I know I'm in the minority on that one, but I think
Yeah.
it matters, especially on difficult courses. I wanna see a guy that's played it once or twice at least.
Okay. All right. All right. In the 9K, you said Finau. Some of the names I wrote down, I didn't play all these names, but Tony Finau, Jason Day has good course history. Alec Noren, he's a huge, tough course guy. I couldn't get over the sticker shock in 9,400
I know.
on Noren. And Keith Mitchell, who's not the longest hitter, but hits it straight. And Tom Hoagie. They're the names I wrote down from this range.
Mitchell's the most interesting to me. I guess how does he bounce back from last week? I mean, he had the tournament won and played terrible on Sunday, but he's a great fit for this course, like you said. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, he gains off the tee. He's a good ball striker. In theory, he should be great on this course. So I like him a
Yeah.
lot. Siwoo is interesting to me. Doesn't hit the ball really far, but his accuracy is pretty strong. So
Yeah.
I think I'm going to play Siwoo in some GPPs. I would like to play him in a lineup as my second guy, though, if that makes sense.
See
Like,
what
so I
your
wouldn't be able to
second
go.
guy.
So I wouldn't be able to go up to Scotty necessarily, but like Sahith and then Siwoo, something like that to start a
Hold on.
lineup.
I'm just curious now. I'm going to keep doing this from now on. I'm going to always have the DraftKings board up. So when you say that, I can tell you if you go Sahith and Siwoo, that puts you at 7,500 left for your final 4 golfers.
Yeah, dipping
I
the
mean, that's
6K
better
under.
than being
Yeah,
if you play just Scotty, you've got less than that available for your other 5 golfers. So I guess only having that much for 4 golfers makes the equation a little easier, right?
well, I think that's the argument for Scotty. It's like, do you want to play Scotty or do you want to play 2 guys above 9K?
Hmm.
It's
I don't
tough.
know. I stuck with Tom Hoagie. I put a couple clicks on Tom Hoagie there.
You love
I debated Mitchell, but you brought up a good point on him. You just don't know how he's going to react after that.
right because it's a guy that doesn't win all the time. If it were
No.
Scotty or somebody that's won a
It,
lot, you'd be like, okay, whatever. It's they
well,
choke, but
if Keith Mitchell was 7,500 after last week, if you just take everything exactly the same and just change his price and drop it by $1,500, Keith Mitchell's a lock to play then. But
right,
Keith Mitchell also then becomes 20% owned versus
right.
I did pull it up now. Let me get to that screen. FantasyNational.com. Check them out. They actually have an app coming out very shortly. So stay tuned for that. Friends of
14,
the show there, FantasyNational.com. He's projected at 13.5%
14,
right now,
yeah.
approximately. Um,
But you got to look at. I mean, he's been really good. Yeah, he choked kind of last week, but
Fantastic.
outside of the players, I mean, he's been in really good form for the last couple months. It's
Are we overstating him collapsing there a little bit? I mean, he's not a young spring chicken. He's been around for a while, right?
right.
I'm trying to pull up his player
I don't know, anytime
profile.
you go from leading to 17th, I feel like it's a
I mean,
collapse.
he hasn't been around as long as I thought. His first event on the PGA Tour was in 2017. So, like 7 years now. So, I mean, he's been around for a little while, but his first event was the Valspar, and he finished in 11th place. What a way to start your career. An unsung like an unknown guy come out and almost crack the top 10 in your first
He's
event.
only 32. I just looked it up, so he's not that
Okay,
old.
gotcha.
Been
I didn't
around.
see it on the player profile. I was trying to look at that on the fly. I couldn't find it. I'm looking at the ownership in all these ranges here. You say Siwoo, 15%. It's not bad. Day at 12. Tom Hoagie. What do you make of Tom Hoagie? The guy is like really, really good sometimes. And
Yeah.
sometimes he just completely falls apart. He's only at 10% projections right now. What do you think about Tom Hoagie and his game?
I just worry about his win equity. And I feel like
Okay.
being at 9,000, I wanna see a path for my guy to win at $9,000, and I don't know if he can win a tournament, to be honest with you. I mean, I
He's
know he
got one
can.
win under his belt,
Yeah.
but he's had a lot of inconsistency. I'm just looking at his sheet since the Century Tournament Champions. He's gone 38th, missed cut 17th, 56, 6, 17th, 8, 28, 12, 54. He's like, I mean, he hasn't missed a cut since the Sony Open, but he's constantly up and down the leaderboard. So there's no consistency with Tom Hoagie.
What worries me too about Hoagie is that obviously the players is a different beast. We know this.
Mhm.
This is a course that you have to be good off the tee. In the players, he lost 9.2 strokes off the tee, 6.1 tee to green, and he putted his ass off to make the cut. It's like
Okay.
if he doesn't gain 5 strokes on the green, he's in trouble and misses the cut that week. But then it's weird because you also see weeks like Arnold Palmer, like you said, 12th, Genesis, which has been people have said this was a comp course. I mean, 8th. It's like he's hard to
Mhm.
pin down.
It's hard to figure out who Tom Hoagie is at this point. It really is.
He's streaky. We know that he's streaky. Like he can be awesome, but he can also be real shitty.
All right, what names do you got in the 8K range?
My boy, starting at the top, Steven Yeager,
Yep,
um,
absolutely. I got him
cut
in 2 of the
maker,
3 lineups I've written so
top
far.
25 ish upside. I feel like
Absolutely.
that's an easy play for me.
Yep.
I don't
Great
like
tee
a
to
lot of
green,
these.
great ball
Yeah,
striker, solid enough on this course distance-wise. Yeah,
I don't love a lot in this range. I do like Kitayama at the bottom, 8,100. He's
okay,
interesting to me. He's been playing a little bit better, and I like Horschel on tough courses. So I
okay.
wish his price wasn't 8,300. I wish he was like 77, but I'm gonna play
I
Horschel
I
too.
I I I have Yeager on my list. I have Aaron Rye on my list. Another good tee to green approach player, ball striker kinda guy. That's what you need. You need guys that are gonna be good around the green too because it's such a long course. It's gonna be tough. I know he missed the cut the last time he teed it up at Valspar, but, other than that, he's had an up and down year. But I think the ownership percentage and at that price in this field, you can get away with it. He always gains off the tee, always gains tee to green and on approach. It's just his putting you have to worry about with Aaron Rye.
I thought his ownership would actually be higher than it is too, to be honest.
I just clicked refresh to get up there. Oh, yeah, it's
Me
still
too.
10%. That's not
And
bad.
yeah,
And what do you make with the Gimmeister, the Gim Reaper? You know what I mean?
when it's
Like
over, it's
he
over.
was, is it over?
It's over. When it's
He
over, it's
made the
over.
cut still. He still
He did.
made the cut
He
last week
did.
at Valspar.
He did. I'm hearing a lot of people on him still. I just
Really?
you just it's
I'm
funny that
surprised his ownership is as high. Like, wait, hold on a second. 12% is
well,
not high ownership for an
no.
$8,200 price guy. But with the collapse he had last week, I'm shocked he's that high. I would have
You know what's
expected
funny?
him somewhere in that 5-6% range.
You named Aaron Rye and then Doug Gim. By far my least 2 favorite people to play in DraftKings. Like I just don't ever get
In
them right.
general, in general.
I just don't get them right. No, they're fine people, but I just don't ever get them right ever. And I just feel like if they're even remotely chalky, I don't play them.
I am going to keep Doug Gim on my DFS card every single week from here on out till he misses a cut. Now, I'm not going to hugely invest in him, all the time. I'm not going to bet him to win and stuff like that. But I will keep a little equity in the Gim Reaper every single week till he misses a cut. It might be this week, next week. It might be. Did he qualify for the Masters yet? I don't know, but you got to be top 50 or a former champion. So I don't know if he's either of those, but whatever. Um, but that's all. I only wrote those 3 names down, Yeager, Rye, and Gim in that range, because I think Mackenzie Hughes at 7,800, just below the 8K. There you go. You wanna play windy? Then you go to Mackenzie Hughes. You balance out your price sheet really well there, right?
Yeah, Mackenzie and Hughes has been awesome lately
He
too.
has
He's
been.
another guy that tough course guy. I like him on tough courses always. Normally, it's funny, like he has been so bad with the putter for like how many weeks in a row? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks in a row. And then last
Mhm.
week he gained 9.6 with the putter. It's like
Yeah,
that kind of shows you though, if he's been that bad with the putter and still been in good form, that when he does putt,
mhm.
that's top 10 finishes.
Top 10, yeah, for sure. He's
And
actually so far, like I said, I've made 3 lineups. He's in all 3 of my lineups so far.
who do you like in this range besides him?
Um, I put 1 click on Luke List and 1, like I said, I've only done 3 lineups. I'm not doing the full 20 this week. So, but even before I knew I was gonna do that, I wrote a full player pool, like a 25, 30 person player pool down, thinking I was gonna do the full 20. Time is just getting away from me right now. Um, I only wrote 3 names down
First
completely
the
in this range.
first the beard, then time. It's all disappearing for
Beard,
you.
time, buying a freaking house, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
there's a lot going on in
Yeah.
my life right now. Other stuff too that I can't reveal publicly yet. But I only wrote down 3 names: Mackenzie Hughes, Luke List, and Joel Damon. Joel Damon, I kind of feel like it's in the same category as Doug Gim. I think his star wasn't as high as Doug Gim, but he was playing better or above his level of play lately. And I think his bubble has burst a little bit too. But they're the only 3 names I wrote down this range. I wrote down a lot of names in the 6 and 5K range for this kind of a field. You know what I mean?
Everybody loves Damon. Everybody
Yeah.
wants him to be good. I mean, I think that shows like he's favorited right now in 49% of line or 49% of people's player pools
Yeah.
on Fantasy National. So I think that's
It's just
interesting.
because people like his name, not his name,
Yeah,
his
they
personality
like
from
him. Yeah.
yeah.
I
I
have
mean,
players
he
that I
did
like.
pop in my model. He's 14th in my model this week. He's
He's
8th in the
been
field in approach in the last 36, 18th in bogey avoidance, which is actually very important this week. He's actually, I don't know how Fantasy National does this. Is he really? Fantasy National's got him second tee to green in the last 36 rounds in this field.
he's good,
That's
Tita Green.
insane.
He is.
Yeah,
It's
fifth in ball striking. So like there are reasons to like him this week in this field.
well, and he's been a little bit better. We've seen that. I think it was T9 at the Players, and
Mhm.
he has a T9 and a T5 here in the last 2 years. So that's interesting too. I just worry if his ownership gets too high because people want
Yeah.
him to be good, and I like the guy too. So I hope
Who
he's
doesn't
good
want him to
too.
be good? I mean, he's a
Yeah,
great, fun guy, great personality. You want to see the underdog type story win. It would be good. I mean, we've seen a lot of underdogs, a lot of long shots win. Last week, what's his name? Peter. How do
right.
you say his last name? Malnati.
Malnati, yeah.
Yeah, like that doesn't excite people. Him winning an
No,
event. Joel Damon when he's 80-1 this week, and I did throw $1 on him. One whole dollar I threw on Joel Damon because I like the guy. I like the person. That would be good for the game of golf if
for
Joel
sure.
Damon won, not Peter Malnati, right?
Yeah, 100%. I just like. I guess they're just guys that I like that are going to be lower owned in this range. Um, KH Lee is probably my favorite play in this
Okay.
range. Love him this week. And his ownership's gonna be like 5% versus Damon's 15. So I
Mhm.
like that. Interested in where Akshay Bhatia. I like him a lot this week, and I like Ben Griffin too. And those guys are all a lot lower owned. So I
You know
think I'll
what's
roll
interesting? I'm
this.
looking at these prices, and there's a lot of guys in the 7K range with low, low, low ownership projections. And it's because everybody's playing Scotty and Windy, and they're
Wendy.
skipping over this range.
Yep.
I mean, KH Lee 6%, Montgomery 4%, Ryan Fox 3%. I'm going to skip Daniel Berger. I want to ask you about him. Svensson 3%. Victor Perez 4. I mean, Sam Ryder's played great golf. He's at 6,900. He's only at 7% ownership right now.
I think you're
So
gonna see
like,
guys. I think sorry to interrupt you.
go ahead.
I think you're gonna see guys that do like a Scotty and a double 5 and 6K guy.
Well, that's
Like
the thing.
2
If you
guys
go
below
down to
6
that low
below 7.
5K, low 6K range, you got guys at like 6,600. Bramlett 12%.
Yeah.
You've got
Novak's gonna be super high.
there's a few others. Bud Cauley at
Yeah,
6,200 is 12%
yeah,
projections right now.
that's
Like that's
a lot.
insane. You got
Yeah.
guys in the 5K range that are 6%. Johnny Vegas, not on my card, over 6% projected ownership. Johnny Vegas is not worth 6% at that price. You know what I mean? Like hell,
Mhm.
even Austin Cook being at over 3% at 5,200. It's just showing that people are trying really hard to play Scotty and whoever to build their lineups. And that's how I think you get different by just fading Scottie Scheffler in your GPPs.
Well, I think people too, like, depending on how you build with Scotty too, I think people have seen the longer odds win these golf tournaments. So I think
Mhm.
they're more confident. Like in the past, it was like, I'll put a 6K guy in, but only one. Now I think people are seeing these long shots win. So they're like, hey,
Right.
maybe I can put Scottie in and then two 6K guys or a guy in a 5 and a 6K guy. It's like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. I think they messed up. I'm okay with the 5K range for majors. I really am. But I think in the non-majors, or at least the non-elevated events, they got to
Agreed.
do away with. You can still keep, like, honestly, I actually think they got Scotty's price wrong since they left the 5K. I think Scotty should be 13.5,
Yeah,
13.7,
I agree with
somewhere
you.
in that range.
You got to make people make a
Push
choice.
14K with them
Yeah, you're
if you're
not
going to leave
making
that 5K.
if you have a 5K range, you're not making people make a choice. You can
No,
just do
you're
it.
not. I think they do a disservice. I love it when you've got elite players in the 6K range in major events or
Right.
elevated events, but
Yeah.
in this player pool, I think if they would have pushed it to 14K, I want to do this again here on the side here. Clear that board. All right, so if you play Scotty, that leaves you with 37, so 7,400. So if you take 1,000 out, that's what, 200. So then you go from 7,400 to 7,200. You make it a little bit more difficult now.
Right.
You may
Then you're
change some
not
people's minds.
then your lineup. So you're not confident in the rest of your lineup. You
Yeah.
just can't.
Then you might be able to go all in on a Scottie Scheffler and him only be 15%
Yeah.
owned because of that. So I don't know. Do you like any names in the 6 or 5K range at all this week?
I do. Let me pull it
By
up.
the way, I have one Austin
Mm.
Cook and one Bud Cauley lineup, but that was when I did it yesterday and the ownerships weren't fully updated. I
Yeah.
am going to edit both those lineups and take both those guys out because I do not want a 13% Bud Cauley or
No.
10%, Austin Cook. Like that just
Yeah.
blows my mind right now.
So you named one of them already that I really like this week is Ryder. I don't understand why
Okay.
his ownership's not higher. And I think maybe it's because of
Because of the
Scotty.
price point.
Yeah, the price point. I think that's exactly right. Novak, everybody likes, so it's not really saying too much. But Matty Schmid and Dylan Wu at the bottom of the 6K are my two favorite plays of the week.
I gotta find his number. I wrote him down, but I didn't write a number because I know I'm not playing him this week. And this is not the Masters, okay? Obviously. But this is a distance course. And distance does matter. And there's a guy that's a terrible golfer that always plays well at distance courses. He's missed a shit ton of cuts so far. Cam Champ.
Yeah. I
Cam
thought about
Champ's a lock in every DraftKings lineup Masters week for me. I know last year he missed the cut, but he never did before that. Cam Champ's been playing terrible again, but he always starts to ramp up right before the Masters. This is a driving course. It's right before the Masters. I'm not playing him. I'm just telling people to take a peek at him and think about him if you need a risky, high reward, really, really bad, failure kind of high floor ceiling kind of guy.
fits the course. T26
Yeah.
last week, T24 in Mexico. Like he's capable. He just
And he
doesn't do it.
hits the ball a ton.
Yeah. On a course that doesn't matter if you really hit the fairway. I mean, it's not that penal that if you miss the fairway, it's like
Yeah.
I thought about him.
Yeah. I'm just saying, I'm throwing I mean, he's always a lock on my Masters week. And I know I'll throw a little side note. Me and Jason were talking earlier that this year's Masters in 2 weeks, it'll be the 5th time we do a show on. This is our 4th season of doing the show, but this show got started with the Masters in November 2020. And this will be our 5th year covering the Masters for
Insane.
this
That
show.
seems like that. That seems like that was just yesterday. Like that doesn't seem like that was that long ago.
Seriously, like we literally met 5 Masters
Yeah.
ago,
Yeah.
basically.
That's insane.
It's crazy, isn't it? All right, let's do some lineups. Let's do some one and dones. We'll start with the one and dones. Where are we at? I had Doug Gim last week, who finished in like 70th place or something like that. Your guy, I don't remember who missed the cut though.
Sam
right?
Burns. Thanks, Sam. Appreciate it.
Great. Sam Burns was in like 13 of my lineups
Yeah.
last week, so it
Me
might have
too.
hurt you in our one and done competition, but it killed me in my DFS lineup.
So you're still about $400,000 up. So if you want to pick first,
fantastic. I
you
love
do
it.
that.
So I'm going to go see Tagala as my one and done this week.
You're on Tagala? Okay.
Yeah. I honestly, like I said, 60% of my betting budget's on Tagala, 20-1. He's going to be in a majority of my lineups. I think Tagala wins this event. I think it's Tagala 1, Scottie Scheffler 2. That's how this mark it down right now. They're the two winning, and Doug Gim's going to finish in 3rd place. I'm just calling my shot right now.
I'm gonna go. This just popped in my head. I'm gonna stick with it. I'm gonna go Finau.
Okay. Back-to-back champ, Finau.
I don't know about
Fifth
that.
place Finau turns into back-to-back Finau.
When he's not even playing well. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
No
All right. So lineups. I had a terrible lineup last week. It was a 5 of 6. 5 of 6 missed the cut. So I only had one guy make the weekend. Let me tell you something, Jason. Last week I sent you a screenshot, but I did not have one 6 for 6 lineup last week. But not only that, I did not even have one 5 for 6 lineup. And I only had one 4 or 6 lineup last week.
So I
That is
did.
how bad I was.
It was a tough week. I did 23
Burns,
lineups.
Spieth, and who I had 3 guys with more than 50%, usage on that all missed
JT.
the cut last week.
JT, right? I think it was
JT, yeah. So it was Spieth, JT, and Burns. I had all 3 of them miss the cut last week.
So you know what's funny? I did 23 lineups and I only had 2 6 of 6s. And my best lineup of the week that actually had a chance, not a chance, but did pretty well in GPP was 4 of 6. So
I also had Doug Gim in a lot of lineups. He finished in 70th place, so that didn't help me. I had Finau in a boatline of lineups. That didn't help me. I basically had the worst week of DFS golf humanly possible. So I think you won last week. That means that,
yeah.
right?
So we're tied. It's me 4, you 4, and the guest 1. So you will do the honors of going first this week.
All right. So since I'm going first before you take them, I'm just going to
Well,
start.
don't forget about the sponsor.
I already mentioned them once. I'm gonna bring them up again. Again, our lineup building contest between Jason and I, and when we have guests, maybe we'll bring in a guest for Masters Week. We'll work on that for Masters Week. But brought to you by Fantasy Golf Pod. Check out Chad and the boys Wednesdays at 4:20. Fantasy Golf Pod is their Twitter handle. That's where you can find them. Search on YouTube, Facebook, anywhere they're at. They're great people there. FantasyNational.com, model making tools. Check them out as well. And like I said, they have a thing on their website. You can get an invite to their app that is now in beta mode and it's been rolling out. I have not actually asked for a link to it yet because I just haven't had a free second period. So, it is what it is. But check them out and make sure you let them know that you heard about them right here, Fairway to Heaven. So I'm going to just jump the gun since I'm going first and take my favorite play right off the board and say Heath Tagala.
I like it.
And again, when we do these lineups to anybody, if you're watching for the first time, we can't duplicate. I pick 6 unique guys, and Jason picks 6 unique guys, and then we see who wins. So, that's where we're going here. Now he cannot pick Sahith Tagala.
I am gonna go. Hold on a second. I'm gonna go KH Lee.
KH Lee. I got to write these down for yours so I don't double you up. All right. So since you did that, I am going to go right to some of my favorites that I know you like, and I'm going to go Mackenzie Hughes next. Going to make sure I get the guys I want before you.
That's a great.
I'm being very strategic this week.
That's a great start to your lineup. I'll be honest with you.
Tagala and Hughes. I mean, that sounds like a winning lineup right there in and of itself, right?
I'm gonna go super value. I'm gonna go Matty Schmid.
Okay. I haven't even thought about him this week. I couldn't even have told you he was in the field.
He's been playing some good golf.
He has been playing great golf. He did not. Hold on. Where's my Fantasy National thing? What's his price?
63.
That's really cheap for him too. Yeah, really good par 5 scoring. Good on that 200 plus proximity. Solid driver of the golf ball. That's a really solid pick right there. I like
17th at Valspar, 26th at the
that.
Players, and T10 in Puerto Rico. Dude's been playing good golf.
I've gone with 2 extremely safe and solid picks. So I'm just going to totally screw myself out of winning this week, and I'm going to go Cam Champ with the 3rd pick.
Good idea.
Yeah, I want to give you a chance to take the lead back. Okay, so I'm going to go Cam Champ there.
Such a nice guy.
Yeah, I'm here to help you out.
I'm gonna go.
I don't want you to fall too far down in life.
I'm going in life. I'm gonna go another value pick. I'm gonna go Ben Griffin.
Ben Griffin. He's another guy. I feel like I get him wrong all the time. Right? Yeah, I can't play him ever because when I do play him, he misses the cut because everybody talks about him. Then he misses the cut, and then he does really well the next week when I'm not talking about him, not thinking about him.
Yeah.
So I try to stay away from him. All right, I got 8,500 left right now. We're gonna go Aaron Rye with my next pick. Again, I'm building a monster lineup plus Cam Champ basically this week on the show.
All right, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Finau.
All right. I don't share your enthusiasm about him winning this week. I won't lie to you at all.
Wait, you picked Champ and then Rye, correct?
Yeah, I picked Champ and then Rye. Yeah. All right.
I don't
Made
think
that.
he's gonna win. I just think
Yeah.
he's gonna do well.
All right. I'm going with Luke List with my next pick.
Luke List.
So far, I'm at Tagala, Hughes, Champ, Rye, and List. They're my first 5. Leaves me a lot of flexibility with my last pick, just so you know.
I'm gonna go Wyndham Clark.
Windy.
Yep.
So it's basically who's winning this week? Wyndham Clark or Tagala determines which one of us wins this
Scottie
contest, right?
Scottie will probably win, and they'll both.
Scottie will win, and we'll all look like idiots really quickly here. All right. So my last pick, I am debating between Keith Mitchell, Alec Noren, Tom Hoagie, and Steven Yeager. I don't know. All right, Noren's out because that would leave 0 on the table. Down to Mitchell, Hoagie, Yeager.
What's wrong with leaving 0 on the table?
What's that?
You can leave 0 on the table.
I could, but I don't want to. I try not to. I'm going to go Keith Mitchell at 9,200. Leaves 200 on the table.
Keith Mitchell, you said?
Yeah, Keith Mitchell. I only had 1 click originally on him, so that gives me a second click on Keith Mitchell.
I'm going to, with my last pick, I'm going to do a steal. I'm going to steal Mackenzie Hughes. No.
We should have done that. That we each get like 1 token like every month that I could steal a player from you or you could steal a player from me. Like a reverse card in Uno.
Right. Yep.
Reverse back to me. I'm taking them from you.
I'm going to go with a guy that has missed the cut both times he's played here.
Okay.
However, I think he's a different player. I'm going to go Taylor Moore.
Taylor Moore. He is definitely a different player. There is no doubt about that.
He's a good golfer.
Like what's his price?
76.
I just want to look him up because I haven't. He didn't pop. He's got like so. You got the color codes on Fantasy National. He's just blue or red in almost every category that I'm looking at, except for proximity and distance, which he has. Which I'm shocked because he has played really good golf this year.
Yeah, 12th last week, 31st at the Players, which is tough.
He hasn't missed a cut since the Open Championship in July of last year.
14 made cuts in a row, something like that.
Yeah, that's a lot of cuts in a row.
Do you know? I also heard this on Preferred Lines this week. That who do you think has the longest made cut streak that's active right now on the PGA Tour?
Well, it was Yeager for a while. Has he missed a cut?
Yep. Yeager's actually missed 2 cuts recently.
Oh, really? He was at like a 18 streak or event streak. I don't know. Is it Taylor Moore?
It's Xander.
Xander.
Do you know how? I care to guess how many in a row he's made?
15.
42.
He's made 42 cuts in a row.
Yes.
And how many wins does he have in those 42
like
events?
2, probably 1 or 2. No, not even. Probably not even because he hasn't won in 2 years.
That's pathetic. That is pathetic. All right, I want to ask you one more question. This is just general golf speaking. All right, and something that I get mixed reactions to when I tweet it out. We have not had a first round finish on time yet this year, right? Pretty much. Maybe some of the small fields might have finished on time. I don't know. Some of them didn't even finish on time. A lot of sports are doing a lot of things to make their product more entertaining for the fans. When and will golf carts ever be brought onto the PGA Tour? Because honestly, I want golf carts on the PGA Tour.
That's not where I thought you were going to go with that.
I know I didn't tell you this at all, did I? I want faster pace of play.
Me too.
That way you can see more shots in a shorter period of time. You don't have to worry about, weather delays. Like you could get those guys off and on the course right away. You can speed these events up massively. You can even go to twosomes probably in the first 2 rounds if you had golf carts. I know it would be a pain in the ass for these golf courses to bring in extra golf carts and all. I know this is a totally unpopular opinion. I want the PGA Tour to add golf carts. You would have pros, especially on Sundays when the fields are shorter, playing 3.5-hour rounds on Sundays if you added golf carts, I think.
I think that's part of the challenge of the tour, though, is that you're walking these courses where it's like, I don't know, I think Augusta, I think of LACC. It's like these courses that are hard to walk. I feel like that's part of the challenge. So I say no to the carts, but it is.
Well, so here's your homework for next week. Come up with a better answer to making the event like baseball has done so much to make, the sport more fan friendly and faster. You got to come up with it. I've come up with an answer to speed up the pace of play so we complete rounds on time, but also a faster performance like that, might make the fan experience better.
Has there
So
ever
you
been
guys
this
come up with a better idea than that.
You brought up a good point though. Like I was gonna agree with you. Like it seems like there's more rounds not being finished. Like there used to be like here and there, like like random, like it rains halfway through the round. Understandable, right? Like that. But like it seems like every round is not
There was
finishing.
no rain last week in round
Right.
one, and they had 3 or 4 golfers not or 3 or 4 groups not finish their
And
first
it
round.
seems like almost every round is not being finished now. Like
Yeah.
almost every week
Every
we're waiting for a
single
cut till
week
Saturday.
there has been an unfinished round every week this year.
But then the flip side of that, I don't know if you saw any of the full swing from this season, but did you see when the U.S. Open when Ricky was pissed about having to finish in the dark?
No,
The
I did
one
not see it. I
one
only
round?
watched one episode of it so
It's
far.
super interesting because he basically played the last 3 holes in dusk, and he was saying,
Yeah.
like, I played 18 when the scoreboard was lighting up the fairway. Like, that's
Let me tell you
bullshit.
something. You play golf carts, you don't have that problem.
It's a no for me.
Give them golf carts, give them GPSs, give them rangefinders, whatever you want. Hell, nice golf courses have GPSs built into their golf carts. I don't care. I want quicker pace of play. That's what I want.
Which I agree with that, for sure.
And I want the Masters app all year round for every single event, but that's never going to happen.
And better coverage.
I've already downloaded it on my phone, the Masters app. I'm already ready for Masters Week. I'm just trying to find a way to make the sport better for the casual fans.
Yeah. No, I get that. Carts is
And
not
for
it.
us degenerate bettors, it's very hard for me to make my showdown lineup if I don't know who's making the cut after Friday because they got to finish their lineups or their rounds on Saturday morning.
Yeah,
And then I got to wake my ass up early to see who makes the cut and not, and edit my lineup before DraftKings locks the lineup.
It is stupid. I agree with you.
I'm just saying, golf carts. It's a totally traditional thing to do for the PGA Tour. Liv has done a lot of things that have changed. Like, yeah, I don't agree with Liv, and I don't like Liv, but they have done a few things that make it more fan friendly, casual fan friendly. I guarantee if the PGA Tour doesn't do golf carts soon, I guarantee you Liv will add golf carts. And you know what? You might see a few more guys go over there with golf carts. Tiger would never do it, but he could probably play a few more rounds of golf every year if he had a golf cart out there.
Yep.
You'd get your biggest ticket on the course more frequently if you put golf carts out there.
Listen, like Mark Cuban says on Shark Tank, it's a no for me.
It's a no for you. Okay. All right, Mr. Mark Cuban. You might want to sound like Mark Cuban, but you don't got the Mark Cuban bank account.
I wish I did.
Yeah. Give me 10% of his bank account, and I'll never work again in my life. You know what I mean? I'm challenging you for next week on this show, on this very show next week. I don't even know what next week's event is off the top of my head. My mind's everywhere.
It's Valero, Texas.
Valero, that's right. You got to come up with a better answer to make events quicker and more fan friendly. Better than putting golf carts out there.
All right. Deal.
All right. I want to one more time shout out our sponsors, Fantasy Golf Pod, Chad and the Boys 420 on Wednesdays. Got to shout out fantasynational.com at Fantasy National social media. Check out their new app. And of course, we're powered and on the Philadelphia Sports Network. That is Jason Sullivan. I am Phil Stiefel. Y'all guys have a great week, and we will see you guys next week. Saeed Tagala's winning, not Scottie Scheffler. Saeed Tagala 1, Wyndam Clark 2, and Doug Gim 3. That is the finishing order this week. I'm telling you. Can I get a parlay somewhere that finishes out exactly like that? It's got to be some pretty crazy odds there. Everybody have a great week, and we'll see you guys next week. Everybody have a great Easter if you celebrate, and if not, we will see you guys next week, guys.